Hello there. I'm not sure exactly who will be watching this, but I don't think I'm gonna make a full-on YouTube video for it, but just in the off chance. Name's Epsilon Gamma, and I am a fan of add-ons. Speaking of which, I need an update. So I'm gonna let that update. Oh no, my audio. Why? Anyways, hi. I like add-ons. I like World of Warcraft, and I'm here because somebody asked me, hey, what add-ons do I need? And if you want to play World of Warcraft, the answer to that is very simple. You don't need any. But I like my add-ons. So I'm going to tell you what I like to use, what I feel like I cannot live without, as well as just some general useful add-ons that I think would improve your quality of life when it comes to playing World of Warcraft. My screen, I play on an ultra wide, so I have a little bit more room than somebody that does not play on the ultra wide. Has a little bit of stuff on there. We'll talk about the elephant in the room, which is the very first one, which is going to be Elv UI, also called Tukui, I think. Commonly found on wowup.io. This is the add-on manager that I use strictly for my Elv UI. It grabs all of them though, which was really useful whenever I accidentally deleted all my stuff and had to get it back. But this is what I use mostly for my Elv UI stuff. As you can see, Elv UI media tag, Elv UI win tools, raid markers, bag filters, and Elv UI itself, and all of its updates. That would be where I would go to download this. They have their own website. You'd go there, I believe, or go here. I don't remember exactly. It might be on here. Anyways, get Elv UI. Elv UI is extremely useful if you type /EC. You have all your options. Now, what is Win Tools? Win Tools, just some fancy bars. I believe it's disappear. Changes to some of the skins and things like that. Media tag also lets me to change my plater. I can modify colors, things like that, which I haven't redone since having re-downloaded everything and having lost everything. But just base Elv UI is plenty enough as is. It has a lot of different things, as well as auto repair, which I used to use an add-on for, which we'll get into in a moment. But it allows you to, anytime you use a vendor that has the option to repair, automatically does it for you, so you no longer forget and have yourself at 30% in the middle of a dungeon going, why? And then dying. Anyways, it also allows you to adjust things like sound notifications. So whenever I get a whisper, it'll play the Zelda ruby sound when you pick up a ruby, specifically the 100 ruby. As well as I can change custom fonts, which I prefer myself using. For now, let's start from the very top. We're gonna go work our way down. I'm gonna try and go quick through this. There most likely will be no additional editing done to this video. This is a one take. Here we go. I hope the audio is doing well. Let's just go ahead and mute the game while I've got this audio playing. Add-on usage. Super simple. What it is / add-on usage. You want to know what's taking all your stuff, it's probably Trade Skill Master. But this will break down everything, showing you what your CPU usage is. Kind of a handy tool if you're ever just wondering what in the world is bogging me down. Auctionator. This is useful if you're going to the auction house trying to sell things. Pretty simple. Auto vendor. This is what we talked about earlier. I used to use this as an add-on before it became obsolete. I haven't deleted it as of yet, but I do plan on cleaning it out. But I just used to use it to vendor out all the grays that I had in my inventory, as well as automatically fix my stuff. Better bags. This is the child of Addy bags. If you ever used Addy bags to manage your inventory items, Addy bags ended up going obsolete and referenced better bags. And I prefer it because it matches my Elv UI. There's actually a theme that they have where it strictly is exactly Elv UI styled. I just like the Simply Dark because of the contrast, and I like dark things. Because I'm edgy, and all my shirts are black. Except for this one, which is gray. Anyways, better bags. I liked it because it filters things out. So you have your like your legs here, you got your trinket, all your trade skill stuff's in one area. And when you get new things, it'll pop up to the top of the bag area as a new item. So when you're doing old transmog farms, that is something that'll be there for you so that you can quickly sell everything that's not important to you and you don't accidentally sell like your pair of pants that you keep it for PvP. Moving on down the list, after better bags, we got better fishing. Better fishing is helpful if you're trying to get like the, I believe his name is Hickory-on in Shadowlands. It's the fishing mount. It's a big jellyfish. It helps you keybind something. One button so I can cast, and then with the interact button, I can reel in. So I can just sit there and fish with one hand while watching, you know, Twitch streaming, which I stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Epsilon Gamma. Anyways, just find me, Epsilon Gamma. I stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Central Time. Better wardrobe. So this is an interesting little one. I haven't fully double checked it because I played with these add-ons for so long. But long story short, when you're transmogging and you're wondering what sets do I have, well, better transmogs here. It also has something to do with the changing room when attempting to look at different mogs, like if I were going to appearances and I wanted to look at this. I believe it has something to do with here. I don't exactly remember. It is not an important thing that you need to have, but I do keep it on there for the simple fact of I have it downloaded and it did something at one point in time and I don't remember what exactly it is, so let's not delete it yet. Moving on down to the next one, be bigwigs. Bigwigs is like one we're going to talk about later, DBM. It is, if you don't remember how to do a dungeon, this might help you out. You know, do I walk away with this AoE? Do I move into it with this AoE? Most likely bigwigs is going to help you out. But we're going to move on because I currently have it undone because I use another one, which we'll get into in a minute. Next up on our list is Bug Grabber, which is paired with Bug Sack. When you have as many add-ons as I do, you run into some issues sometimes. Where every now and then when you load up, you'll get a Lua error. If you hate closing that thing out, this here is your solver. This fixes your issues. It is not to be confused with something that would fix your issue permanently. If like, say you had a pre-patch that dropped and ruined all of your add-ons, because you want to see what those add-ons that are not working are. I have to turn it off for that. But what it does is it grabs those errors and puts them in a bag and puts it in your closet and tells you one time. Mine says fatality. I believe the initial setting for it is actually the generic wolf cry, but you can adjust it to whatever sound you like. Mine says fatality in a high-pitched voice. That's how I know if I'm having an issue anywhere. Moving on down, we got bulk buy, which I have turned off because I believe it is outdated at this point, but it allows you to buy things in bulk and also bigger than what a stack is. Can I mog it was very interesting. I have it turned off right now because it was not working properly, but it may have been updated recently and I haven't turned it back on. But what it'll do is if, say, especially with the new transmog rules in place, you go transmog farming and you pick up a random green that you can sell on the auction house. Of course, if you go to sell it on the auction house, you lose that appearance. So it will have a little orange box beside your armor. If you can see the armor right there, we'll get to that in just a minute. But on the actual icon itself, there'll be an orange box. I currently don't have anything that I don't have an appearance for, so it's not going to show up. But that's what it does. I currently have mine turned off because of the issues. Click, though, is a add-on that I cannot live without. If this is on a S rank tier list, I put click at S because I like to heal. And one thing I don't like doing is clicking their target, finding my spell, and clicking the spell to use it. What I like to do is just click the button. All right, right click. Oh, it's a better heal. I want a shield, shift right click. Ignore my trinket. But yeah, so what this does is if you open up your, your book here, you got click. This thing that I always think looks like a mouse. I don't know why, but click the mouse. It's gonna open up all your spells here. And these are all the key bindings that I have assigned. It is not just left click, right click. It is also buttons, equal signs, numbers, things that I use on my mouse. There is a small bug with it going on right now, which will probably be patched out in the near future. But when you're key binding the mouse scroll wheel going up and the mouse scroll wheel going down, it is reversed. So in order to have this say up, I had to scroll down on it. But then once I did have it, it works properly. But that's just a minor bug. Actually, I think it is a mouse with a wizard hat. So I'm not crazy. Maybe it's a rat. Anyways, click is super useful for mouse over macros. You can also put your own macros on the list. I don't know if you just saw it there, but it is a I cannot live without add-on for myself. Some people like other things like Healbot, and there was one Voodoo that came out, and there's another one as well. But I like Click for my own personal reasons, because it also I just use LVUI's unit tabs rather than having a whole nother add-on for it. Copy pasta. This was for a specific reason. It just allowed me to paste large forms of text. I don't remember the exact reason why, so it's currently disabled, but that was the whole reason for it. If you have any questions about it, just look it up. I believe it's old though. I think it's still in version 8 of the game, so it has not been updated. DBM. I don't remember what DBM stands for, but DBM is the, oh no, how do I do this? And you can see it's got all the different, versions of the game, from BFA to Legion to Dragonflight. These are the dungeons, and this is going to help you out with the mechanics in the dungeons. Moving on down, since that is super easy to go by, decursive. You ever had issues with your party yelling at you because you didn't purify them, or they had a dot on them and you didn't clear it? Decursive is your problem solver. All right, this little box here that this rainbow is going around and around and around, that is my decursive box. When there's more people, there's more of them. I normally don't raid, so I don't exactly know what happens to decursive when you're raiding, but for mythic parties, which is where I get yelled at, it's perfect. Because if I click this button, guess what happens? I cast Purify on it. Now this box is not just a, oh, this is a Purify box. It'll light up when you have a thing that can be purified. It'll also have a timer on there showing you how long it is going to last for. So yeah, you can just click that and it uses your Purify for you. Deja character stats. If you just want to know more about your character, that's the thing to click on. It'll change your window profile, which I won't click right now because it's going to involve another add-on that we'll talk about later. Demodal. You ever get tired of opening up your map and not being able to move it? Well, Demodal lets you do it. Well, there's the character window. You get to move it. So it just lets you move anything that you have that you're needing to move around. Demodal will allow you to do that. Details. This is for you tryhards that want to show off that you're the best of the best. This box at my bottom right of my screen is my details menu. Not only does it show you damage though, also has your healing, your resources, who interrupted who, CC breaks, you name it, this thing's probably got it. Any sort of deep dive on any of the add-ons, please, there are plenty of resources on the internet of YouTube that will teach you. But I mainly use it for damage and knowing like, hey, when I did this dungeon, what was my most powerful spell? What did I use the most? Is that correct? How do I fix my rotation so that I do better and perform better the next time up? I always joke that I'm doing it just so I can show myself being the top, but it is really just me trying to improve myself. Moving on down, we talked about LVUI already. Make sure you check that out on their own website. If you Google it, I'm sure it'll pop up, but they have all the different information on there. But super interesting. I could not live without LVUI or details. Next up, we have Gathermate 2. Now, Gathermate 2 is interesting. I have it currently turned off because I don't think it's been updated, but I am sure it will, as it was a highly used add-on in Dragonflight and Shadowlands, and it allowed you to see on your minimap different mining nodes, like what exactly they are. So if you're looking for a specific ore, you'll see it on the map, as well as your overall map, which you can turn settings on and off so that way it's not cluttering your entire screen. But it's super useful if you're going out gathering. Gladys is a very well-known PvP add-on. If you don't know about it, shame on you. Just kidding. That's what I'm here for. Gladys, though, is just a unit frame display showing some useful information like when somebody's used their trinkets, when they're buffed up, and just allows you to target. It's just an overall UI add-on that helps out when it comes to PvP. GTFO. Get the flying Frank out of there. When you're standing in fire, you are not DPS hiring. you're actually just causing your healer to get angry. And we don't want that. We want to keep our blood pressure low. So GTFO allows you to know when you are standing in something that you should not be standing in. It'll blare out a large wah, wah, wah if you're standing in fire. It's telling you, hey, you might not want to stand there. Useful for me because I'm sometimes so focused that I do not realize I'm on fire. Handy notes. Don't exactly remember what it does, but for your maps, it shows some additional information. I don't believe it's been updated in a little bit, so that's why I have it turned off, because I was given some errors. But useful for like finding treasures and things like that, and allowed you to have a little bit more insight into it, so you don't have to go googling. Hikili. Hikili is currently up here in the top, not in the right location on my screen, but what it does is it helps you. If you're unfamiliar, maybe you play all the classes and you don't just stick to one main, and you're struggling to remember, how do I do damage? Hikili's going to be there to help you out. It's going to give you a somewhat of a rotation guide. There's 3 buttons in a row. It wants me to do my Power Word Fortitude first, and then it wants me to use my Holy Fire into my Shadow Word Pain. And as I push these buttons, it'll go down the list. Super helpful though. Immersion is next up. This is one that I personally cannot live without. If I'm ever talking to an NPC, it'll pop up their head here and give me the options in a better looking window than what WoW's native window is. Just super helpful. It just keeps me more immersed into the game. I don't really like reading the small scroll paper thing. It hurts my eyes. I don't know who's really talking. So this just makes me feel better about playing WoW. So it is something that I can't live without, but teach their own. I'd give it like an A rank. Item lock. It's pretty self-explanatory. Lets you lock items. I currently have mine disabled because I think there were some issues with it. But by the time you see this, something's probably fixed. Leatrix maps in Leatrix Plus. These are 2 add-ons that do a lot that I'm not 100% familiar with. But the biggest thing for me, and the reason I have them, is for areas on the map that I haven't been to, I like to know what's there, right? It makes me able to see the map, and it's not like this fog of war that I can't see through. So that's the main reason I use it. There's also additional things, if you look into it, that it can do. I believe it also has some sort of sell junk function, but I haven't looked too far into it myself. Little Wigs is the dungeon version of Big Wigs. Big Wigs for raid, Little Wigs for dungeons. Self-explanatory. I have mine turned on right now because I'm still trying to figure out like which one I want to use. Loot Appraiser. Though slightly out of date and sometimes not always ready, it does a couple of things that I really like. For one, whenever you start it up, it's going to give you a timer. So if you're trying to time that quick speed run of Nighthold Raid and want to know what loot you're getting out of it, it's going to pop up every single item that you pick up from the raid, be it a rare that you can sell in the auction house or just the random ones that you get in vendor. I did notice the vendor price that it was giving me is not what I was seeing on my actual tab. So I don't know if this is correct or if my tooltip was a little off, because I did feel like I was not getting as much gold recently, but I believe Blizz has nerfed raw gold farming. But super interesting. I like the Loot Appraiser just for the simple fact of the timer, plus it gives me an alert anytime I pick up like a green that I would otherwise just think is trash. But that's the main useful of it. Map boards, I'm probably going to delete it. It gets annoying to me, but it shows you basically what you see on the map, your coordinates. It's going to put it here, 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 here. It's all over the place and I don't like it. Mask. I don't have it turned on, like the actual mask turned on right now, but it just allows your UI to look prettier. If you like your buttons looking a specific way, there's a bunch of different types of masks. I currently have Serenity downloaded, and I use it on a couple of my classes that I feel like match the theme of the class. Quality of life. I just like it because I like to feel pretty. Moving on down, in Media Pack, this is also the media thing with LVI. It just allows me to color different things. We've talked about it. Moving on to Mogget. Mogget, if you saw me earlier when I was looking in my bag and I moused over, say, this headpiece. What does that armor look like? Well, that's what it looks like. Sometimes when you look at this like leg piece, I'm like, what? How does it even look on a character? Well, that's how it looks on a character. Obviously, when you mouse over a trinket, you don't see nothing because you don't see trinkets. It just allows you to see armor before So if you're doing like a transmog farm and you can't remember the name of it, and the icon's really small and you don't remember the small, if it's that thing or not, it's just useful for me. Quality of life, I like it. Mythic dungeon tools. If you're one of those mythic guys and you want to make your own routes and see the map and stuff, and that's what this is for. It helped me learn some mythic dungeons back in Dragonflight, and I never uninstalled it. It is useful, but only for those who want to go out of the way to use it and don't feel like going to a third-party website outside of, wow, Narcissus. I absolutely love this because I do photography, and I love photography in the game. Basically, all it's going to do is allow you to take pictures of your character. It also allows you to get into group photos, so you can add more of yourself if you like, and do different poses. And it's super simple. If you want to learn how to use this, there are tutorials on the internet. Moving on down. After Narcissus, we got Nug Combo Bar. So some classes like Rogue, you're going to build up combo points and then spend them. Also does that for, I believe, Feral Druid and a few others. So if you ever need to know how many of those points you got up and you don't feel like having a weak aura for it, Nug Combo Bar is there for you. It can allow you to, I believe you can change the shape. I have mine circles, and I also colored them purple because purple's my favorite color. And you can put it wherever you want. It's just a nice, lightweight, easy to use add-on. Obviously, with my Holy Priest, not needed. Omni CC and Omni CD are two just additional information panels while you're dungeoning, knowing who has interrupts, who does not have interrupts, who just used theirs, who's not using theirs at all. Also, it allows you to see powerful buffs that your character has available and is or using. So that way, if you're an Og and you want to know, oh, is he, power infused? Oh, no, he's not. Yes, he is. And so then you know what to do. Moving on down, Opie. Opie is very interesting. If I had the thing memorized, I think it's, yeah. So, whoops. It just opens up the radio menu. You can adjust them and modify them to whichever ones that you want to use yourself. Say you want to have, tilde key be all your mounts. Then you have a radio menu that'll pop up. All your mounts will be available for you to just select to. Some people use it in actual combat. So if they're playing Shaman, they have all the different totems on one button, and they quickly just mouse the direction they want to use. That is what Opie is. I use it just for things like my mail, my yak, my mounts, flying ground mounts. I just haven't reset mine up since reinstalling everything. Pawn is if you don't feel like doing math. Normally your highest IA level is the better one, but ever so often it's not. And especially when you get to your max level and you're like, everything's kind of close. This helps take out some of the guesswork for, is this beat a piece? How much better is it? And it uses some algorithms and websites to tell you, hey, this is 53% more damage than your last thing. For example, if I click this headpiece, you get a little green arrow. It says this is a better piece. It is 63% better for Holy. So that is what Pawn does, I believe. Could be wrong. Postal. This is just to help me mail things to my alts. I use it mostly as a address book. Raider IO. Self-explanatory if you know anything about the mythic scene / rating scene. That gives you your score. WoW has implemented their own version of this, but Raider IO still stands strong. Range display. Displays the range. I don't have it because I'm out in the middle of nowhere right now on a tower talking to you guys. But normally, I'll have a little number range here. It's 20 to 25 range. And that's for whatever target I have currently in my crosshairs. I don't believe that works with these guys really far away, but you'll see a number thing here and also have the numbers right by my mouse. Super helpful when you're like, am I in range for this spell? Am I not in range? I found it most helpful in my hunter, but I believe my preservation evoker is also going to like it because of the 25 meter range. Going back to the add-ons, moving on down, we're almost done, guys. We're in the R's. Rare scanner. That is what you see Oshigol over there. on the left side of the screen above my head, that is rare scanner. If you're looking around and you're trying to find a specific rare, say you're mount farming or transmog farming, and you're like, where is this rare at? Rare scanner is going to help you find it. It'll also allow you to just click this thing if it's within eyesight of you, so you don't have to like try and find that one specific spider or crab now. Let you just select it if it's within your area. Moving on down to rarity. Rarity is a fun little quality of life add-on. If you like to know that you are failing miserably at farming something, it'll let you know, hey, this is your 110th attempt to try and get invincible. Congratulations, you still don't have it. But it just helps me keep track of things, and I like knowing like how often have I been farming this. Routes is just allowing you to put a little racetrack on your minimap so you know where you're going. Useful for gathering, not super important. Routes import, guess what it does? Import somebody else's route. Shared media. So that sound effect that I talked about earlier, if I get a whisper, that is shared media. It has a little text readme file. It'll teach you how to use it. A little bit complicated, but not too terribly complicated. If you ever modded anything, it's gonna be a breeze. If you never modded anything, might be a little bit, but it does walk you through step by step on how to implement new fonts and or sounds. In other add-ons to use that. So this is not, it doesn't really do anything on its own. It just allows other things to do more. So LVOI is able to use it to add sounds to it. And that's just a continuation of it. Simulation Craft. Simulation Craft is allowing you to sim your character on the website and allows you to know, hey, is this armor better or not? Kind of like Pawn, but for when you want to get, you know, knuckles deep into it. Tell Me When, one of my favorite add-ons. I cannot live without Tell Me When, except when I'm playing my healer. But TMW, Tell Me When, it allows you to have this little thing. It is basically like a quick, easy to use, make your own weak aura. Say you have some dots, like I've got Shadow Word Paint. I want to know that my target has Shadow Word Paint on it. I'll go here and I'll open up, you know, Team W, right click on that, go down here to debuffs. I want to track it on the target, and it's a debuff only cast by me, and I want to make sure that it's on my bar when I'm not in combat. And what am I tracking? Shadow Word Pain, not death, pain. And I also want to know the timer on it. We'll see how long I have left on it. So now when I exit, you'll see it's got 30% opacity because it's not on anything. But if I were to find something and then cast Shadow Word Paint on it, which I can't at this range, nor any of those things that I can cast it on, it would light up. Basically what weak auras do nowadays, but it lets me be the judge of it. There's also really cool different things you can do with it, like notifications, set conditions, like only show up if player is in combat, which is somewhere around here. Unit exists is alive in combat, if it is true. So now it'll only show up if I'm in combat. Now it's not got that little grayed out thing. Also could show up alerts, so if a cooldown comes off cooldown, or if one of your spells comes off cooldown, it'll show like a flash on it, so that way you know, oh hey, I can pop this spell now. Very handy, very useful. I would list it the very bottom of S tier for myself, but for other people, high A. TLDR missions, only useful if you're doing like the workbench missions or your garrison missions. Tomcat Tours is this right here. It just helps give a little bit more really cool information that you need and time frames for when things are going on. TomTom is just a little arrow. Been mostly remedied by Blizzard's staff over the years. Just helps you be like, hey, you're going that direction. I had mine turned off because of all the implements that Blizzard has done. Trade Skill Master. TSM is a amazing add-on that I have no clue how to fully operate. Please go watch like a good 40-minute in-depth guide on Trade Skill Master and do it better than me. Long story short though, it lets me do a quick cycle through all my inventory. If I have anything on the auction house that needs to be removed, it allows me to do that. As well as just post things with a click of a button. Venture Plan, I've disabled it because it kept giving me errors. It is just a quick version of the Shadowlands table, allowing you just to push a button and it sends all the stuff out. and Analytics, I believe, is part of WeakAuras. But I also have just the app itself that helps me to keep track of my WeakAuras. We're going to come back to WeakAuras because it's a big deal. Worth It is just an add-on that allows me to know of popular gathering / money making methods, and is it worth it for me to do it? World Quest list and tracker allows me to see all of the world quests in easy spots. Tracker will actually pop up a panel over here. I have mine disabled. It was recently updated, so I can turn that back on when I want to. Now, WeakAuras, probably the most versatile add-on in the entire game. You need it. It is S rank. It is up there, top of the list, because it's super helpful. It allows you to do things like this over here, where I see on my stats. I mainly use this for my speed. I want to know when I'm going fast. I just like seeing the number. It also allows you to see the trail on my mouse. That is a WeakAura. And also, if I'm ever in combat with a boss, one of my WeakAuras that I like to use is Rateability Timeline. So it's going to pop down this ability. It'll say the name over to the side and when it's going to activate. Super useful, super helpful. I like it a lot. One of my also other all-time favorites, I use it on every single time I get a character, is Chunky Character Sheet. I just like to look at this. This looks way better than standard WoW UI screen. But it allows you to see a bunch of different information about your character, kind of like DJ character sheets, which is why mine turns off, as well as because it's really cool background. I like purple, so it works for me mentally and spiritually. But all right, that is the list of my add-ons that I currently keep track of on my list. To quickly go over the must-haves. Honestly, must-haves, click if you're a healer. If you're not a healer, I still use it on my tanks for like battle reses. I can just control click a person on their name tag and just get them up without having to remember a button. DBM for, I don't remember how to do dungeons. If you're really familiar with all the dungeons, not useful as much, but I still like it, just in the off chance I forget. Demodal, because it's in the high A, because it drives me nuts not being able to move my windows. If it's not a big deal for you, lower it on your scale. Details, because I like knowing what I'm doing, the damage I'm doing, and making sure I'm not doing crap. LVUI, because I can't live without my UI. It is miserable in updates because it goes down for a day or two, then it comes right back up. GTFO is super important to me, because I'm always standing in stuff. If you're not, less important. Immersion allows me to enjoy the game more, so it is up there in the high A's for me. And everything else here is purely quality of life. I could live without all of this stuff. And then we get on to WeakAuras. Obviously, you gotta have WeakAuras. So that would be my recommendation for my S ranks and high A ranks of what you need as an add-on. But most importantly, you don't need add-ons. World of Warcraft is 100% able to be played without add-ons. You just make life miserable. So I hope that was informative. I hope you got something out of that. And remember, I stream on Twitch. I should be streaming right now, but I was recording this video. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Central Time, over at Twitch TV /Epsilon Gamma. Take care.